Well, good morning. I'm Blaine Alexander in for Savannah Sellers.
And I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, soft landing in sight. The latest batch of economic data shows inflation is going down from its historic highs. But will that be enough for the Federal Reserve to slow its pace of interest rate hikes? We're going to break down what we could possibly expect from today's big interest rate decision and what it means for you and your wallets. Winter misery, that massive cross-country storm is churning across the Midwest and South this morning. It's creating havoc on the roads and knocking out power. The monster system packing snow, rain, even tornadoes in some areas. We have the very latest on where the storm is heading next and how it could impact you. Further fallout this morning in the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried. The former FTX CEO was denied bail in the Bahamas after U.S. prosecutors charged him with a laundry list of crimes. What it all means for the one-time Wall Street darling as the crypto industry looks to recover from its latest black eye. And messy magic at the World Cup. Argentina's biggest star put on a show in yesterday's semifinal against Croatia, scoring a goal and an assist to carry his country into the final of the World Cup. So who will Argentina face to take home the trophy? We have a full preview of that other semifinal match as the World Cup nears its finale.
That'll be one to watch.
Extraordinary to see one of the best in the world doing the best.
Absolutely. All of it. This has been so much fun to watch.
Exactly.
And learning about soccer along the way, by the way.
Which we do every few years here in America. All right, more on that in a little bit. We're going to begin this morning with the ongoing battle against inflation and the hope that relief could be on the way.
Absolutely. Today, the Federal Reserve is set to make a decision on interest rates that will have a major effect on the economy and your wallets, all as we close out the year. It's more welcome news just a day after yesterday's better-than-expected inflation report. But economists say that the Fed may not be ready to relax its stance on inflation just yet. So here to walk us through all of this is NBC News business and data reporter Brian Chung and Farouche Tarabi, editor-at-large of CNET. Both of you, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us. So, Brian, let's start with you. We saw some good news yesterday, of course, in that inflation report. We were watching the president's remarks together. Certainly a lot to see there. We got some more promising news this morning. Mortgage application volume is rising after a month of being on the decline. So tell us what this means for consumers and how could this affect the Fed's decision?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's start off with the Fed's decision first. So the expectation is that later on this afternoon, the nation's central bank will continue to raise interest rates, but by a smaller amount than they've been doing in the past. So they've been raising rates by 0.75 percentage points in each of the last 4 consecutive meetings. And in the last meeting of 2022, they can make those interest rate hikes a little bit smaller. The expectation is for them to go by about a 0.5 percentage point. So this shows the off-ramp that the Fed is doing as they maybe start to taper off the pace of their interest rate increases to maybe stop entirely sometime in 2023. And what that means is possibly some peaking in what we've seen in high credit card interest rates and also high 30-year fixed mortgage rates. And we've even seen mortgage rates come off a little bit because of the market expectation that the end of Fed rate hikes could be in sight at some point because of the fact that 30-year fixed rates were somewhere around 7% a few weeks ago, but now they've come down to about 6.3%. And that is a reason why you're seeing mortgage applications perhaps increasing marginally. However, it's worth mentioning 30-year fixed mortgage rates are still double what they were this time last year. That's the reason why mortgage applications are still 38% lower than where they were last year, from 7 to 6.5%. Maybe that incentivizes some people to want to go apply for a mortgage, but not that many people.
So, Farnoosh, there seems to be consensus, at least so far up till now, among members of the Fed that these aggressive interest rate hikes are the right monetary policy. But do you think after this latest inflation report, we could start to see some dissension between members as they figure out how high to raise rates today?
I think while the latest economic indicators are encouraging, it's just 1 month's worth of data. I think the Fed needs to see a larger trend. When you push back and you look at the overall economy, the fundamentals are still indicating that we have a big problem with inflation and unemployment. The rate is still apparently pretty tight. The labor market is pretty tight. And so we have these two, economic indicators that would, I think, push the Fed to continue increasing rates into 2023. The consensus is 2 more times, and then maybe take a pause, maybe even reverse some of the rate hikes. This is what people are going to be listening for. Investors are going to be really keeping their ears to and looking at Jerome Powell as he presents the accompanying statement after the announcement of the Fed rate hike. What is he going to indicate about the future of the economy? I think the Fed itself has said that they're going to probably pursue 2 more rate hikes to a point where the overall benchmark rate is around 4.6%. The other thing we have to remember is that we have been fighting inflation for some time, and there is this risk of inflation psychology where we consumers, we just anticipate inflation. So we start buying more because we anticipate prices rising. We want to lock in some of those groceries and purchases and homes because we just know we expect that inflation is going to be lingering. And then we'll also ask our bosses for raises, and they may give them to us. And so we risk sort of perpetuating the inflation cycle. And so I think the Fed is also aware of this potential risk, which may not mean that they're going to suddenly end their campaign. They may continue and be very, very concerned. I mean, Jerome Powell said at the last Fed meeting in November that they're going to work until the job, quote unquote, is done. And I think he's going to repeat some of that sentiment in today's accompanying statement.
O'Brien, back to you. Let's talk about Jerome Powell. We know that we'll hear from the Fed chair this afternoon after that decision comes out. We've heard a couple of different messages from him lately, though. After the last meeting, he suggested that the Fed could raise interest rates too much and then, quote, bring it back. But then he spoke at the Brookings Institution recently and suggested that he didn't want to go there. So what can we expect to hear from him later today?
Yeah, well, all of what you just said is kind of the debate about how you engineer what they call a soft landing. And basically what that means is how can you get inflation down without causing damage elsewhere in the economy? And one place where there is concern is that the higher interest rates are going to press companies, because borrowing costs get more expensive, into potential layoffs. Now, right now, unemployment is at 3.7%, which is essentially near historic lows. And because of that, we haven't seen that hard landing scenario. But again, the Fed is still raising interest rates. And if they continue to be this aggressive, there is a question about whether or not it's going to engineer that hard landing by making companies have to start laying people off. We're seeing that already in the tech sector for what it's worth, but it's mostly contained to that sector for the time being. So for the Fed, they could go by 75 basis points today, 0.75 percentage points if they wanted to. But I think the reason why we're hearing the talking point of them making a little bit smaller but still raising interest rates is because they know inflation is still high. It's still far away from their 2% target. That's an important reminder. We're at 7.1%. They want to be at 2%. They'll raise interest rates, but maybe then stop at some point in 2023 to see the impact of those hikes.
We'll be watching it all closely. We know that you two will, too. Brian and Farnoosh, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Now to the dangerous winter weather that's sweeping across the country. The Midwest plains and coastal states in the Northeast are now bracing for impact as this severe weather barrels east. From blinding snowstorms in the west to several tornadoes in the south, millions are cleaning up the damage left behind by this slow-moving storm. Around 15 million people remain under winter weather advisories this morning as a result. Meteorologist Angie Lastman is standing by to walk us through what's in store for today's weather. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky, who is in Grapevine, Texas, with the latest. Morgan.
Yeah, Jill, good morning. And the damage extensive here in Grapevine. But just within the last few minutes, we are hearing reports that dozens are injured and at least 2 people are dead in Louisiana after a terrifying round of overnight tornadoes. And as we pull out here in Texas, you can just get a glimpse as to how powerful these storms are. They are not unheard of to happen in December, but the sheer speed at which they struck, leaving so many people here shocked.
This morning, a dual winter threat. Heavy snow piling up in the plains.
I am in a tornado.
And rare December tornadoes in the south. Late Tuesday, major destruction in northern Louisiana. A tornado ripping through this community in Caddo Parish.
Okay, we got one patient that was buried underneath the house.
Homes left in pieces as search and rescue teams look desperately for possible victims. Nearby in Keithville, a child's body was found near his mother's. Both killed as the storm swept through. A possible tornado leading to extensive damage. Police say about 20 people were injured. One family in the small town of Wayne, Oklahoma, rushed to their basement as tornado sirens wailed, coming back up to find their home pummeled by an EF2 twister. In Grapevine, Texas, 5 people were hospitalized as another tornado tore through Tuesday morning, sending debris flying and causing drivers to turn around.
Things started swirling around and hitting the side of the house, and that's when I ran for cover.
Tim Lancaster's home went untouched, but his car wash business just blocks away was destroyed.
What did you find when you walked outside?
Debris everywhere.
Those wind gusts also toppling power lines. An hour west, this semi-truck flipping right onto its side. At Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, flyers even had to shelter in place.
Proceed immediately to the nearest severe weather area inside the terminal building.
And the danger isn't over yet, with millions at risk for tornadoes and under blizzard warnings again today. The blinding snow and ice bearing down on the heartland.
Full-on blizzard here.
In northeast Colorado, there's no way out. Blizzard conditions closing every major roadway north of I-70. From Northern California to the Northeast, Americans facing a brutal week of winter weather.
And as we mentioned, that storm system not over just yet. We do know that search and rescue teams are busy at this hour in Louisiana, searching for people amid the rubble. Meanwhile, back here in Texas, the power that was knocked out yesterday is now mostly restored. Good news for a lot of folks here, 24 hours after quite the shock. Joe?
All right, Morgan, thank you so much.
Well, let's get the very latest now on that system's track and where it's headed next.
Yeah, meteorologist Angie Lassman is here with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. And as you heard Morgan say, we're not done with this just yet. That system still has to continue moving east, and that's where we're tracking it right now. So as we continue to take a look at the radar, that is the most, the biggest issue I have right now with looking at this. Plenty, of course, of lightning, but we have heavy rain falling from southern portions of Louisiana into Mississippi and stretching into parts of Alabama. We also have a tornado watch that is continuing this is going to be in effect here as we get through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours. Again, this is a slow-moving storm, so you might notice it hasn't shifted that threat a whole lot to the east. Texas no longer included in this, but Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and stretching into parts of Georgia and Florida. Now that is where we will watch for the biggest impacts today as far as the severe weather. Now, the tornadoes on the table yet again today. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida all in the bullseye of that. You can see stretching from Panama City to Baton Rouge and up towards Hattiesburg. That's where we're going to watch for those impacts. But it's not just the severe weather. We also have rainfall rates that are in excess of 2 inches per hour on already saturated ground. So the flooding concern remains for these states as well. 10 million at risk for the flood issues today. And those flash flood warnings are already in effect from areas close to Lake Charles up in Baton Rouge and stretching into parts of Mississippi. Now, the system is twofold because it's not just a rain event. It's also some wintry weather, some snow conditions that we're dealing with in parts of the northern plains. That has been an issue for folks since yesterday. So roads impassable in lots of locations, major highways shut down in parts of the Dakotas. The Midwest dealing with a wintry mix. You can see some rain in places like Chicago as this system continues to track to the east. We will look at it spread to places like the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, and that creates a mess for tomorrow's commute. Rain mostly for Washington, D.C., New York, Boston as we get into Thursday and in Friday. But the inland areas, the interior parts of the Northeast could very well see close to a foot of snow in some locations. So a busy kind of a couple of days. And again, the system's a slow mover, guys. So it'll be something that we'll deal with today, tomorrow, and into the weekend.
All right. We know to keep an eye on it. Angie, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Angie. Well, let's turn now to the arrest of one-time crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried, who was taken into custody in the Bahamas earlier this week. The former CEO and founder of FTX is being charged with defrauding investors. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has the very latest.
The now bankrupt FTX was a crypto exchange, which may be a mystery to a lot of people. But what Sam Bankman-Fried is accused of is something everyone understands. Prosecutors say he lied, took people's money, and used it for his own personal benefit, what the new CEO of Bankman-Fried's company called old-fashioned embezzlement.
Once heralded as the wunderkind entrepreneur of cryptocurrency, Sam Bankman-Fried today is in a jail in the Bahamas, where he's vowing to fight his extradition to the U.S. In New York, federal authorities laying out their criminal case against him.
And I want to be clear, this case is about fraud. Fraud is fraud.
And they say this fraud is one of the biggest in U.S. history, with a staggering $8 billion in customer deposits now missing. Prosecutors charging the 30-year-old with 8 criminal counts, including conspiracy to defraud investors, lenders, and the U.S. government. And they say he moved billions of dollars of FTX customer funds to his hedge fund, Alameda.
He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research.
According to a civil complaint filed by the SEC, Bankman-Fried lied to both investors and customers, creating a business that the government says was a house of cards, promising consumer protections that were never there, and pitching the exchange with high-profile celebrities. According to the SEC, customers around the world believed his lies and sent billions of dollars to FTX. Bankman-Fried allegedly used the money for his own personal gain, including lavish real estate purchases and large political donations. The former FTX CEO denied the accusations of fraud in an interview with Andrew Ross Sorkin.
I made a lot of mistakes are things I would give anything to be able to do over again. I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone.
Bankman-Fried was supposed to testify at a congressional hearing Tuesday. Instead, the new CEO of the now bankrupt FTX, who took over after Bankman-Fried resigned, sat answering questions for 4 hours, trying to explain how the company fell apart.
The FTX group's collapse appears to stem from absolute concentration of control in the hands of a small group of grossly inexperienced and unsophisticated individuals.
When asked to respond to Bankman-Fried's denial that there was fraud, he had this to say.
I don't find any such statements to be credible.
Bankman-Fried told the court in the Bahamas he is going to fight extradition. His attorneys say they are considering all legal options, while the magistrate judge rejected bail and said he will be held in custody in the Bahamas until February 8th. Bankman-Fried was supported in the courtroom by his parents, who are both professors at Stanford Law School. Back to you.
Well, Stephanie Gosk, thank you so much.
Argentina has booked its place in the World Cup final after comfortably beating Croatia 3-0 yesterday.
That's right. The team will now face the winner of today's match between France and Morocco, which has already made history by becoming the first African and the first Arab nation to reach the semifinals. NBC News foreign correspondent Megan Fitzgerald has more from Doha.
It was a decisive win last night. Argentina beating Croatia 3-0. But look, both teams came out and played aggressively early on. But about 34 minutes into the game, Lionel Messi sinking the ball in the corner of the net, 1-0. Minutes later, another goal. And then, of course, going 2-0 into the half. Argentina with another goal, cementing their place in the finals, 3-0 victory. And the fans couldn't be more excited. Take a listen. Did you ever doubt that Argentina would win this game?
No, I never doubted. I always thought Messi can do it, and he's amazing. And I hope that they win the World Cup.
How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm feeling very, very, very happy because Argentina is my favorite football team.
Lionel Messi just one game away from cementing his name in soccer history. I mean, this is a guy who has won basically every major title in soccer except for one. That's the World Cup. He'll have an opportunity, of course, to do that on Sunday. They will face off against the winner of tonight's match against Morocco and France, a historic match, of course, Morocco being the first African nation to advance to the semifinals. Whatever happens, Sunday's going to be a good game. Back to you.
Exciting stuff, Megan. Thank you so much. We're back with a closer look at the surge of migrant crossings at the border. Officials in El Paso have been sounding the alarm on this new wave as the Trump-era restriction Title 42 is set to end next week.
And all this comes as the Department of Homeland Security announces they're sending more agents to help with the influx at the border. NBC News national correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from the Mexican side of the border with the very latest on this. Gabe, good morning.
Blaine, good morning. With the wind chill, temperatures feel like they're below freezing right now, and some of these migrants have spent a miserable night here. Now, I'm standing in Ciudad Juarez. The water you see in the live picture, that's the Rio Grande. And those migrants you see lined up, some of them sleeping right now, they are actually waiting to get into the U.S. They're on U.S. soil right now, but they're waiting to get past that border fence. Downtown El Paso is on the other side of that fence, and you can see how long this line stretches for. Local officials say that that this is a sign of things to come. This morning, the immigration battle at the southern border is intensifying. For days, huge groups of migrants have been crossing into El Paso, Texas, clutching blankets and burning fires to keep warm. This family from Nicaragua tells us they're desperate to reach the U.S.
These families just crossed the Rio Grande. The temperatures are dropping as the sun sets, and they're getting ready to turn themselves into Border Patrol right on the other side of that border fence.
This new influx comes just days before a federal court order that a pandemic-era border restriction known as Title 42 be lifted. The restriction gives the U.S. government authority to turn away migrants, including asylum seekers, at the border, citing the need to prevent COVID from spreading inside the country. Customs and Border Protection agents expect migration to keep rising, telling NBC News daily illegal border crossings could reach 10,000 per day. That's on top of a record 2.4 million already during the past year. At a migrant shelter in Mexico, we met this family of 4 from Guatemala.
Now they're waiting until Title 42 is lifted before they decide whether to cross into the United States.
The Department of Homeland Security blames criminal smuggling organizations for exploiting migrants for profit and says it's deployed more agents to the region.
The increase in encounters at our southern border is not something exclusive to the United States. What we are seeing is an increase in migration throughout the hemisphere.
But in El Paso, some officials say the federal government needs to do more. Migrant processing centers are already crowded, some people even sleeping outside.
It is a state of emergency. There's no municipality alone that could handle what we're seeing and what we're about to see with the lifting of Title 42.
Again, many of these migrants have spent most of the night here. Temperatures feel like they're below freezing, and they're just trying to keep warm at this point. Now, the Department of Homeland Security wants Congress to set aside $3 billion to help deal with the migrant influx that is expected to come if Title 42 is lifted, again, possibly as soon as next week. Lane, Joe.
All right, Gabe, thank you so much.
Really striking scenes there. Well, as more people flee to the border, protests have broken out in several Latin American countries as former political leaders now face corruption charges and convictions. That includes at least 2 ex-presidents in Peru and Panama. NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas takes a closer look at the political turmoil.
Growing unrest in Peru after violent protests erupted over the weekend. A human rights group in Peru reporting at least 6 people have died in clashes just days after the ouster of former President Pedro Castillo, last week impeached and arrested for rebellion and conspiracy while separately facing corruption charges. His vice president, Dina Boluarte, has since been sworn in as president, including a new cabinet that includes an anti-corruption pledge. But protesters are now calling for presidential elections to be moved up and held as soon as possible.
Dina Boluarte no nos representa. Es una traidora, es una incapaz y ahorita tiene que estar presa porque ya hay muchos muertos en el país.
The deadly demonstrations are the latest in a tumultuous week for Latin America. Government officials from 4 different countries facing corruption charges.
There's an epidemic of corruption in Latin America right now, and the constant prosecution of former presidents is just the tip of the iceberg.
Mascota de ellos no voy a ser nunca. Así me den no 6 años, me den 20 años.
Just last Tuesday, Argentina's vice president, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, sentenced to 6 years in prison and barred from holding public office again.
Lastima al pueblo de Guatemala, lastima al sistema de justicia.
A day later, a Guatemalan court sentencing both former President Otto Pérez and his vice president Roxana Valdetti to 16 years in prison after corruption revelations forced the 2 out of office early. The former president says he will appeal. And over the weekend, a Panamanian judge summoned former President Ricardo Martinelli to stand trial for money laundering.
Lo que se hizo aquí no tiene nombre. Todo el Estado contra un individuo.
Martinelli maintains his innocence and claims he's being politically targeted.
Is there a wave of accountability that is new in Latin America?
There are increasingly strident public demands for accountability. Latin America is struggling enormously right now economically and from the public health consequences of the pandemic. And so there's very little tolerance right now for misconduct by public officials and the misuse of scarce public resources.
A struggle for transparency and a battle against corruption underway. Guad Venegas, NBC News.
More international news. After rolling back restrictions, China is also changing the way it reports new COVID infections.
NBC News foreign correspondent Claudia Lavanga joins us more for that and much more. Claudia, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, following the decision to ease COVID-19 restrictions, China has now decided to also reduce the number of COVID-19 cases it reports daily. Now, the country's National Health Commission stopped publishing the number of cases where no symptoms are detected, which have until now accounted for the vast majority of new infections. But the decision comes amid reports of long queues outside fever clinics across the country, indicating a surge of the virus. Let's go to France, where 8 people were found guilty over their links to a terrorist who killed 86 people and injured 450 others in 2016 as he drove a truck into crowds celebrating the country's National Day in the town of Nice. Among them are 2 friends of the driver who were found guilty of being part of a criminal terrorist organization and were jailed for 18 years. And let's come back here in Rome, where the Christmas tree in front of the City Hall this year will be lit by, well, pedal power. On Tuesday evening, the city's mayor, Roberto Gualtieri, was the first to jump on one of the bicycles attached to a generator that provides power to light up the tree. Now, residents and tourists will also be able to just get on a bike and light up Christmas. Guys?
Great idea. And you can burn off some of those holiday calories.
Definitely needed. And it looks beautiful.
Exactly.
Claudia, thanks so much for joining us. And we're back now with more on Daystar Peterson, known as Tory Lanez, who was on trial this week.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan P., testified for the first time in court just yesterday. She alleged that Peterson shot her in the feet after the pair left a pool party that was hosted by Kylie Jenner.
After coming forward, the rapper became the brunt of social media jokes and criticism. And all of this has sparked a lot of online debate about the difficulties that Black women may face when speaking out against violence. Peterson pleaded not guilty to the charges, and if convicted, he could face more than 22 years in prison.
Joining us now for more on this topic is author and professor of women's studies, Dr. Treva Lindsay. Professor, good to have you with us. Thanks for being with us. So Megan Thee Stallion has become a vocal advocate for Black women's rights. She wrote an op-ed for the New York Times in October 2020 about the alleged incident where she said, quote, "The way people have publicly questioned and debated whether I played a role in my own violent assault proves that my fears about discussing what happened were unfortunately warranted." Can you talk more about these fears she's referring to? Do you feel like gender and race are playing a big role in this conversation?
Yes, thank you for that question, and thank you for having me, Joe and Blaine. I would argue that Black women face insurmountable hurdles in many ways when they come forward about violence against them. And over 40% of Black women will experience physical assault at some point in their lives. And what's more jarring is that this history is contending with another history of Black men being hyper-criminalized in this country. And then you have the Hip Hop Boys Club that's another player in this whole scenario. And so I think it's really important to listen to the ways that Black women are often dismissed, silenced, and erased when it comes to violence against us.
Treva, this is Blaine. So good to see you, but especially getting your expertise on this topic. As you know, of course, this trial has sparked a lot of online controversy with some supporters and even fans of Tory Lanez really making a lot of jokes and criticisms about Megan Thee Stallion's credibility. We've even seen, to your allusions, rap lyrics from Drake kind of taking hits at her credibility. I guess the question is, why do so many people still feel comfortable making light of serious allegations like domestic violence?
Unfortunately, domestic violence is such an integral part of our culture that I think that it's very easy for people to make jokes and to distance themselves from the gravity of this situation. When she first accused Tory Lanez of being the shooter in the incident, she said on her IG Live, "I tried to spare him and y'all are not sparing me." that we see this real distrust of the criminal legal system, but also this distrust of a community that she thought might be there for her. And inevitably, she did understand that coming forward meant that her career might be harmed because of this. And so I appreciate the bravery that it takes for her to refuse to silently endure and unequivocally protect those who are harming her.
Dr. Lindsay, this trial is expected to last until early next week. Well, the outcome, we don't know what that's going to be. What do you want to see actually come out of this case?
Well, the unfortunate part of this case is that Megan was already hurt. She was already harmed. And what we really want in terms of justice is that no one is in this situation to begin with, that we see decreased numbers of women being harmed, victims being harmed, and inevitably that number that I mentioned at the beginning, that over 40% is constantly decreasing. I think we need a reckoning with the ways that we talk about, engage, and fight against domestic violence, intimate partner violence, interpersonal violence. And I think that that requires a concerted effort to address the root causes of why it's so pervasive in our culture, particularly against Black women and girls.
Such an important conversation. Dr. Treva Lindsay, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Glad to have your expertise on this. Well, researchers across the nation are now sounding the alarm after Congress failed to keep funding vaccine research, saying that investment in next-generation vaccines is critical for staying ahead of an unpredictable virus. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Ven Gupta joins us now with much more on this. Good morning, Dr. Gupta. Glad to have you with us.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Blaine. Thanks for having me.
So, Dr. Gupta, I guess the first thing is we want to ask you a couple of questions. There have been stories in the news about how this relates to the future of research. First, a new study showing that some people who get COVID and to a lesser degree the vaccine may develop side effects or debilitating heart conditions from this. What can you tell us about this, and what should people know, certainly as they go into it, and concerns around this?
You know, Blaine, what you're referencing is a rare side effect that we've seen in some individuals who have long COVID, these long chronic symptoms after an acute bout with the infection. There is a condition that is called POTS for short, where people can experience high heart rate, low blood pressure. It's really the virus essentially interfering with somebody's nervous system, and that's why there's this disruption. We're seeing again in very rare cases. I do worry sometimes that there can be a misperception that this type of condition or long COVID could be related to the vaccine, and sometimes that misperception can cause some issues when it comes to funding and political ways to do so.
And Dr. Gupta, I know that you have done extensive reporting on this, and you've got more. Let's take a look right now.
Dr. Akiko Iwasaki is pioneering the next generation of COVID vaccines.
Everywhere in this country right now, the ER is jam-packed with people with respiratory diseases. Currently, we are in dire need of vaccines that prevent infection and prevent transmission.
At Yale University, she is developing a nasal vaccine.
It can be put into a nasal spray and sprayed into the nose.
Unlike currently available mRNA vaccines, which are injected into a muscle, a nasal vaccine is sprayed directly into the nose, generating antibodies right where the virus enters the body. Not only is it easier to use, Iwasaki says it also has the potential to stop the virus from spreading between people. The nation's top doctor, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, acknowledging the need for new technology like this.
It's so important that we continue to invest in ensuring that our vaccines are getting better, that our treatments are getting better, because the virus is continuing to evolve.
But developing a next-gen vaccine isn't cheap. Iwasaki estimates on the magnitude of hundreds of millions of dollars.
With the current amount of funding that's available to us, it will take probably a year or two at the earliest to be able to start testing our approach in humans.
The Biden administration is scrambling to get $10 billion of COVID-19 funding from Congress next year. It's included in the year-end spending bill under a contentious debate on Capitol Hill. Debate that could lead to a government shutdown.
The bottom line is nasal vaccines are an important part of the strategy, but to invest in them to the degree that's required, means that we need that funding from Congress to come through.
A decision is expected to come before the end of December. With little Republican support, that funding is far from guaranteed. For the time being, health experts urging lawmakers to act.
All I can say is Congress needs to do its job and step up and protect the American people.
This is going to be a pretty consequential next 48 hours, Blaine, especially with some decisions happening on the Hill when it comes to funding these efforts. So we're going to see what happens in the next, by the end of the week.
Absolutely. Dr. Gupta, thank you so much for joining us. We're back now with your financial headlines. Apple is reportedly preparing to let its iOS devices download third-party app stores.
CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other money news. Silvana, good morning.
Joe, Blaine, good morning to you. Apple is preparing to open up iPhones and iPads to competing app stores. Bloomberg reports that would allow users to download third-party apps without having to go through Apple's App Store, and developers avoid the 15 to 30% commission on in-app payments. The changes are primarily designed to appease lawmakers in the European Union, who recently passed a sweeping measure on digital markets. They will initially be implemented in Europe before potentially rolling out elsewhere. Employees at Google are wondering whether the company has missed the boat on artificial intelligence. CNBC has learned at an all-hands meeting last week, they asked executives whether a new AI chatbot that's gone viral called ChatGPT represents a missed opportunity. Google's longtime head of AI technology says the company has similar products in the works, but he says the cost to Google's reputation would be greater if something goes wrong because people have to trust the answers they get from Google. And more than 158 million consumers are expected to shop on the final Saturday before Christmas. The National Retail Federation says that's about 10 million more than on Super Saturday last year, and the highest since it began tracking the data in 2016. Now, of those people, 28% plan to only shop in stores, 27% plan to only shop online, and 46% will do a bit of both. As of early December, shoppers say they've completed about half of their holiday purchases, guys, and I've completed none.
I was going to say, I'm far behind that.
We'll just panic
negative?
Together. We'll panic together.
Yeah. None of that's been done. All right, We'll catch up together, Silvana. Thanks so much.
You got it.
Now, as we've been reporting, new data shows that inflation rose by less than expected in November. It is a welcome sign, which could mean some relief for our wallets. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson takes a closer look.
If the Grinch had a name this year, it would be inflation.
I'm very hopeful that this is not the new normal.
Kimmy and Matt Smith have a long Christmas list. At the top, their children, Kennedy and Easton.
It's trying to find the best deal right now and trying to find the best price.
To get the most out of this season of high prices, they started planning in the summer.
Turn it this way.
And agreed not to buy each other presents.
I feel like every time we make a purchase, we put in so much more thought. Where are we getting our gas? Where are we getting our groceries?
Inflation pressure that a new government report says is easing.
In a world where inflation is rising at double digits in many major economies around the world, inflation is coming down in America.
The decline in annual inflation, 7.1% in November, down from 7.7% in October, helped by a drop in gasoline prices. The average price for a gallon now down more than $1.70 since June. Overall, inflation slowed a bit, but housing costs continued to rise, up 7.1%, the biggest increase in more than 4 decades.
Whoa, that's so cool.
In suburban Chicago, the owners of the Smiths' favorite toy shop notice a caution among consumers, feeling the inflation squeeze.
Well, if my prices rise, their prices have to rise. I can't absorb that. It's just impossible, right? You know, it's just kind of how it goes.
Yet stores and consumers are determined to keep the holiday spirit despite this year's Grinch.
Here we go. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of the entire year.
Our thanks to Ann Thompson for that report. And of course, later today, the Federal Reserve is set to announce its latest interest rate hike. Markets expect a half-point increase, but really the focus is going to be on Chairman Jerome Powell and what he says about future increases going into the new year.
Well, now to a huge breakthrough and something that researchers have been trying to do for decades now. Scientists have successfully created a nuclear fusion reaction. NBC News senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson explains.
A really sunny day. It's hot and bright. That's thanks to a process that happens deep inside the sun called nuclear fusion.
Nuclear fusion is when you take really light elements and smash them together really hard to create heavier elements. And in that process, there is a little bit release of energy. Our sun does nuclear fusion every single day, and that's how the sun powers itself.
All right, it works like this. Two hydrogen atoms moving really fast smash together. And when they do, the reaction creates not just another element, helium, but energy. So if this happens all the time in stars, why is our ability to do the same thing here on Earth such a big deal? Creating energy like this does not create carbon. So experts say it opens the door to maybe ending the world's dependence on fossil fuels. This whole process is called nuclear fusion. And its sibling, basically the reverse, is nuclear fission. That's how we create nuclear bombs now and nuclear energy. But creating energy that way leaves behind radioactive waste. Plus, there's the risk of potential disasters, like what we've seen at Chernobyl or Fukushima.
With fusion, it's the complete opposite. You just hit one switch and the whole thing shuts off, and that's it.
So nuclear fusion is a big deal, but it comes with a catch, and it's a big one. This is not going to be a snap to scale up. A bunch of really smart people in a lab with humongous special lasers made this happen for a split second this time after decades of work and billions of dollars. To get from that to something you can actually use when you flip a light switch, experts say that is still decades away.
The amount of time it will take to generate nuclear fusion as a power source is very, very, very long. There's still so much work to do.
And our thanks to Hallie Jackson for that report. Experts say that the hope is one day this new technology could replace the way that we make energy and create a path to give future generations a world worth living in.
Welcome back. Prince William and Kate have released the photo for their annual Christmas card. In the image, the Prince and Princess of Wales are dressed casually and holding hands with their three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. It is the latest in a tradition of informal pictures for the family's cards. This is also the first family photo William and Kate have released since they were given those fancy new titles. Looking pretty good there.
An adorable picture, absolutely. I wonder if they had to go through the same struggles all parents have to go through to get their kids to cooperate.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. We all have to go through that, right?
Very, very cute. All right. Well, we want to end the hour with an NBC News exclusive. Jay Leno spent 9 days undergoing intense treatment at a burn center after suffering severe burns from a car fire inside his garage. Yesterday, the comedian sat down with Today Show co-host Hoda Kotb for his first interview since that accident.
First of all, Jay, I'm just so happy to be sitting across from you.
Well, thank you. I'm afraid I had to get on fire to be on the Today Show. Thank you.
But I have to say, I was really, as the country was, extremely worried.
I mean, the country was.
People were like, what happened to Jay? What happened to Jay?
Well, people were very nice. I got wonderful cards and letters.
I love the story about how when your doctor was first meeting you, you were in the middle of listening to a voicemail, and it was like, hey, this is Joe from Indonesia. And then your doctor was like, and then I put together who it was.
Yeah, that was the President Biden call. That was very nice. That was, I suggest you have more important things to do, but I thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it.
Gee, let's just talk about what happened. So
okay.
You're doing what you love.
Right.
You're with your babies, all your cars.
Yes.
You're doing your thing. Just tell me what happened that day.
Well, it was a 1907 white steam car. So the fuel line was clogged. So I was underneath it trying to clog it. And I said, blow some air through the line. Let's see if we can clear. And then poof, and suddenly, boom, I got a face full of gas. And then the pilot light jumped and my face caught on fire. And I said to my friend, Dave, I'm on fire. And Dave, okay. I said, no, Dave, I'm on fire.
How long have you guys been buddies? How many years? Thankfully, Jay's longtime pal, Dave Kalaki, was standing just a few feet away.
I couldn't even see his face. He downplays it all, but I'm telling you, he was really engulfed. I couldn't see his face.
It was on fire?
It was a wall of fire.
What was the first thing you did when you saw him engulfed in flames?
I just grabbed him. He was just under the car. I grabbed him by the head and I pulled his head into my chest.
I thought it was a bad Tinder date. I go, what's going on here?
What are you doing? Let Dave talk about how he saved you. Okay, so you kind of brought him into your chest.
I did.
Yeah.
Started to smother the fire.
Yeah.
Then I put the car out.
Yeah.
And I told Jay, go into the bathroom, put cold water on your face. That's when I put the car out, put the fire out. Went into the bathroom to look at Jay and I said,
what'd you think?
Oh, it was... Like I say, he downplays that, but it was horrific. It was a scary thing. It doesn't take a genius to figure out, call 911. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
How would you describe what he looked like to you?
It was horrible. It was horrible. In fact, he asked me, how do I look? And I think I said, not good. This is going to be a bad thing. You know, when the first 2 layers are peeling off right now, you know this is a real issue.
Doctors took one look at Jay and told him he needed to go straight to a burn center. But Jay had other plans.
Yeah, I mean, I drove home right after that.
Wait, you drove yourself home? Why did you decide to go home and stay home for that night?
Well, because my wife doesn't drive anymore, and I didn't want her stuck and not knowing what was going on. It just seemed like the right thing to do, and I think it was.
So you loved your wife more than you worried about yourself?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Was that it?
Well, I think there's something to that.
Jay and wife Mavis have been married for more than 4 decades. What did your wife say when she saw you?
Oh, thrilled. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but did she say, go to the hospital?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
The couple would spend the next 9 days at the Grossman Burn Center. Doctors had to scrape away layers of burned skin, a painful procedure. But they say Jay never complained. He was more worried about everyone else, sending pizzas to the nurses and cheering up other patients. Were you worried about what you might look like when it was all said and done?
When you look like me, you don't really worry about what you look like. Luckily, look, if I'm George Clooney, that's going to be a huge problem, you know. But they said it would be all right. So, my attitude is I trust people who are the best to do what they do.
So they had to fix your ear?
Yeah,
Is that a brand new ear?
Well, no. It's just, we saved all the original parts.
So what did they do there?
I guess they remolded it and did something. Apparently this burns fairly. This is like, I think the doctor told me, this is like the thinnest skin on the body, so it burns pretty.
So that had to be reconstructed.
It's like flash paper. They fixed that.
And then this whole part?
Yeah, this whole thing here, and they put that netting thing on there, and I guess the skin.
What about your hands and fingers?
Well,
do you have mobility?
As you can see, these got burned pretty bad.
Jay also spent 8 hours a day isolated in a hyperbaric chamber. The pure oxygen helped him heal.
And it's basically a glass coffin. They seal it. There are people who keep an eye on you. So I knock on the glass, and people walk by, and you see people talking, and I'm laughing because I can't get them. It's getting hot in here. And then, oh, hey, what's up, Jay? It just made me laugh because because it's all clear in this glass coffin that's sealed.
Yeah, that's sealed. You're just in there. They're going about their lives, and there you are.
Very funny.
Were you thinking about something while you were in there?
Well, yeah, you think about jokes, you think about your act, you think about, yeah.
Never thought of myself as a roast comic.
A week and a half after his release, Jay was back doing stand-up with a slew of hot new jokes.
It worked out great. And actually, the most expensive part of the whole operation was the gasoline. We're in California, it's $7 a gallon.
So, jeez, you're so bad. I can't believe this is an interview about your recovery, and this is what it is.
Well, the fact that I have smooth skin, pouty lips, and a tighter butt had nothing to do with the accident. That was all secondary. You know, it's a funny thing. My first night on stage, they put up jail out. We thought he'd be more burned up. People are disappointed you're not a briquette, They're like, oh.
Well, the Inquirer had you pegged.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
What did they say?
Leno's fireball horror. Look at this. Brave TV legend is worse than you think. It turned into a human torch. I mean, you have to laugh at it. It is kind of funny.
Is this how you get through? Like, this is so remarkable to me.
Yes, it is. But you know something? In the real world, this happens to people every single day. If you work with your hands, people work with their hands, get injured every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be some whiny celebrity. Oh, boo, boo, who is me? I don't want to be one of these people. Oh, I have all these cars and this beautiful house, and look what happened to me. People go, shut up. Yeah.
So I know that working under cars and with cars has always been your happy place, your safe place.
Right.
Do you have now any skittishness?
No. Did I learn from this? Of course not.
What an interview. Our thanks to Hoda for that piece. The hospital where Jay Leno recovered says that the well wishes from friends and family are still pouring in, and fans as well. And Jay is back on the air on CNBC with Jay Leno's Garage, and also 5 days a week on his comedy game show, You Bet Your Life, on Fox.
He's exactly the same.
Exactly,
Didn't
yeah.
change him at all. Good to see that. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
And the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.